Good morning and happy Monday, December 6th. We are only 3 Mondays away from 2022. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like 3 Mondays. Like that's it. Only 3 more Mondays in 2021. And this is the last monthly update of the year that I'm going to be doing. The next time you see me with our market update, it will be in early January, and I'll be looking at the full review of 2021, how everything landed, how it compared to 2019 and 2020. So there'll be some good information to really show you what's been going on in our market and what's continuing to happen and kind of what we're going to be looking at going into 2022. So that will be coming in January, and that'll be a fun one. It'll probably be a little bit longer because there'll be a lot more information going into it. But for now, we have got what our monthly market update here is today, looking at what happened in our local real estate market in November compared to 2019 and 2020, kind of where we are, what things are looking at, are looking like going into 2022. I was pretty much anywhere I go these days, if somebody knows I'm a real estate agent, I am definitely asked about real estate. And among my friends, constant questions about, how's the market, what's going on, what do you think is going to happen? So just to kind of talk briefly about that before we get into the November numbers. Right now, 2021 has definitely been a seller's market. We're probably really 22 months into saying like it's been a seller's market for a while, probably a good 22 months, give or take. We saw a transition happen despite the pandemic, despite the shutdown. Regardless of all of that, we have had a great real estate market over the last couple of years, and we are anticipating that is going to continue into 2022. So what we're thinking about right now is what's going to happen with inventory. Those are questions going on, and what's going to happen with interest rates. Those, again, if I had a crystal ball, I would be a millionaire because I'd be telling everybody exactly what to do. So I'm going to give you kind of the information based on what I know our market to be, and then the experts that I follow and what they're saying, how things are looking. So let's talk about interest rates first. Interest rates have been crazy, crazy low for quite a while now. And it is anticipated, everything I'm reading, everything I'm seeing, is that we can anticipate interest rates to begin to rise in 2022. Now, that's not to say interest rates are going to skyrocket, but I think some of the historically crazy low interest rates we've been seeing, we're not really going to be in that realm anymore. I think we're going to see some things starting to move up, and they already have a little bit incrementally. So I think that's going to continue. Again, nothing too crazy, and we'll be getting Dustin Steele in here. I know you've joined us for some market updates with him where he talked interest rates. So we're going to get him in first part of next year to talk with us about how things are projected going into quarter 1, quarter 2 of 2022. So talking rates, we can anticipate we're probably going to start to see some increase. Inventory is another fun question because who knows what the heck's going to happen? It's been such a crazy roller coaster ride watching inventory at the lowest that I've ever seen it in my career, and I've been doing this almost 18 years now. So inventory, what we are looking at is, well, let me go back. Typically, our usual real estate market would be you hit January, you get a few things kind of coming onto the market, but historically, the spring is when we see our big rush of inventory. That's when we see most things coming on the market. And that season for us here locally runs around kind of starting in March, going into the summer, and stays pretty strong through the end of July, mid-July, end of July. Once kids start going back to school, we typically see a little bit of a dip in activity because people are getting focused on getting kids in school and, you know, finalizing those moves that they probably made through the summer so that kids could be in school. And then we start to see a little bit of a pickup again in the September timeframe through the end of October. And as we go into November and approach the holidays, meaning Thanksgiving, getting into that Thanksgiving week through the end of the year, again, we usually see historically a little bit of a dip in activity because, again, if people don't have to buy or sell, often they kind of put it on the side burner during the holidays because they're tied up with travel plans, family get-togethers, parties, Christmas shopping, all of that kind of thing. So that's our usual real estate market. I would say for 2022, that's probably going to be a little different going into the first of the year. Based on what I'm reading and what I'm seeing and just looking at kind of what my pipeline is, I think we're going to see quite a bit of inventory coming on the market the earlier part of the year, the winter months. And I think not just locally, but probably nationally, we're going to see a little more inventory coming into play. Now, I don't think we're going to be all of a sudden saturated with homes on the market. So this isn't going to be a situation that it goes from a seller's market to a buyer's market overnight. I just think we're going to see some more options coming. When it comes to pricing and you start looking at interest rates and potentially maybe some inventory rise going on, what you have to remember is we've seen great appreciation on homes over the last 22 months, probably the most that I've seen in my career. So that's going to change a little bit when we start to get more inventory and when rates start to rise a little bit. Now, I don't think that we're in any danger of any kind of market crash. That's not what we're going to see. We may see a little bit of a leveling out on some of the appreciation of value. So where over the last year, I could do a market analysis for a client in March, and then by June, that number had gone up, and then within another 60 days, that number was going up again. Where we've seen some big jumps like that over the last year, I think we're going to see a little bit less of that kind of change in numbers going into 2022. And that's, of course, going to be dependent on inventory levels and interest rates. So I think those are things to consider. I have said for a while now, I think January, February is a fabulous time to list your home because historically it's always lower inventory. So if you get your home on the market while we've got strong buyer needs, wants out there, and there's less inventory, you've got a better chance of selling at a stronger sales price. I mean, that just is the way it is. That's just market and numbers and how pricing and negotiations work. As we get more inventory, things sometimes become a little more competitive. So if we have that big spring rush where a lot of things come on the market, as they historically do, then that again can level out some pricing. So if you are intentional on thinking that you may want to sell in 2022, let's start having that conversation now. December is a great month for us to have those conversations. I understand why some people don't want to put their home on the market in December. They don't want to possibly deal with showings during the holidays. They've got a lot of other things going on. It can be a chaotic time of year for people. And so I get it. Like, there's never a bad time to list, but I understand why this time of year some people don't want to list. So I understand you. I feel you on that. But we need to be talking now about what our strategy is to get your to get your home on the market and sold in 2022. So again, that might be a strategy of let's be ready to make things happen in those first couple of months of the year while inventory typically is a little lower. Again, I do think we're probably going to see a nice push of some inventory coming in after the holidays. So that'll be exciting, especially for a lot of buyers out there who have been sitting and waiting and looking for that right home, and they're saying, oh my gosh, there's nothing on the market. Well, you're right, there really isn't a lot on the market, but pay attention because there are things that are going to be hitting before the end of the year, and then I do think soon after the first of the year we're going to see some inventory coming in, and I think it's a great time to list a home as well. So that's just kind of some quick information, some of my thoughts on what we're looking at going into the first part of 2022, and thinking about, like, is now the time to have the conversation about what your real estate plan is going to be in 2022. Even if it's not to list your home in January, February, March, maybe there's a longer term plan for the year. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's put some strategy together and figure out what the timing is going to be on all of that. So I do think 2022 is going to continue to be a phenomenal year in our real estate market. So for all the naysayers out there speculating about crashes, forget it. I don't think that's happening. Not in our housing market anyhow, and not in our local market. So let's talk some about numbers here. All right. I've got the November numbers for Muscogee and Harris County as they closed out, and looking at some comparisons. This is looking at closed sales for the month of November. Muscogee and Harris County, 291 closed sales. In 2020, it was 253 closed sales. And in 2019, it was 190 closed sales. So we've seen over 100 closed units more in 2021 as compared to 2019. So that's pretty strong, especially in a time of year that historically is slower. So we are definitely not slower compared to previous years. Let's look at kind of some comparisons, days on the market, that kind of thing. In 2021, for the month of November, average days on the market for the homes that went under contract were about 32 days. The average sales price was $229,000, and the list price to sale price ratio was at about 98.82%. So not quite 100%, a little bit of a change from some other months that we've seen, but still very strong sales price as compared to list price. In 2020, the average days on the market was 59 days. So that's significantly more than what it has been this year. Average sales price was $223,000, and list to sale price ratio was actually slightly higher in November of last year than it was this year. It was 98.96. In 2019, their average days on the market was 75, and again, for November of this year, it was 32, so that's a really big difference, and that is obviously due to low inventory and competitiveness, those types of things. So average sales price in 2019 was $194,800, and list to sale price percentage was 96.79. So over the last 2 years, we've certainly seen things are selling much closer and even over list price as compared to 2019. So let's look at pending sales. Currently, we have, and again, I say this every time, this number changes by the minute, but approximately 526 pending sales in the Columbus Board of Realtors MLS system, and about 373 active listings. So again, it's kind of held true all year long, really for the last 2 years, that we have very low inventory, and you can see by the pending sales versus the number of active sales, there's far more under contract than there is actually active on the market. All right, let's look at Russell and Lee County. Same statistics here. Closed sales for November was about 150 closed sales versus 2020, which was about 133, and 2019, which was about 128. We've got an average for the month of November on closed sales at 28 days on the market. Average sales price, $225,777, and list to sale price percent was right at 100%. So we're still seeing on the East Alabama side, it's really holding strong at that 100% list to sale price. So we're not seeing big negotiations happening in most cases. 2020 days on the market was 59 days. Average sales price, $201,000, and list to sale price, 100%. 2019, now this is significant. This one kind of blew me away. For closed sales in the month of November for 2019, the average days on the market was 109 days. we are sitting at an average time on the market for this year of 28 days. That is huge, such a huge drop in time on the market. Average sales price in 2019 for the month of November was $182,471. And list to sale price percent was about 100%. So over the last 3 years, we have seen that there's not big negotiations on the East Alabama side of our market, meaning Russell County and most of Lee County that we cover. Right now in the East Alabama Board of Realtors MLS system, there are approximately 282 pending sales. That's 282 pending sales and about 110 active listings. So again, super low inventory. That's held all year long. That has held true. And I do think going into 2022, inventory is still going to be low. I think for all of you buyers out there who are in panic mode because there is just not much on the market, which is not uncommon this time of year. Don't be freaked out by that. I do think we're going to see some inventory hit the market after we get through the holiday season going into the first of the year. I know as a team, we've got some great homes coming on the market here in the next couple of weeks, and then we've got a good handful of things coming on the market in the January timeline as well. So keep an eye out for that stuff. A lot of people, like I said, just kind of want to get through the holidays before they get their house on the market. But a lot of what we're seeing coming on the market, at least from our team perspective, it's homes that are vacant or situations where the seller has a need to move, they're relocating for a job, that kind of thing. Most of our clients who are not in a must or need to sell situation right at this moment are kind of saying, let me just get through the end of the year so that I'm not dealing with showings in the throes of home inspections and all the stuff that happens when a house goes under contract during the holiday season. So that gives you guys kind of the down and dirty on November 2021, how everything has closed out, what we're thinking as far as going into the first of the year. And again, if it's even sort of maybe a little on your radar about buying or selling in 2022, now is the time. December is a great month for us to start working on what that timeline is going to look like, what that game plan is going to be. Doesn't mean you got to make the decision today to put your house on the market. Just means if you're thinking about it, let's look at what those numbers are. Let's look at how the timing of when you list next year might actually impact your bottom line, depending on inventory levels and how inventory levels will impact negotiation and pricing through the year. So anyhow, those are just some quick details. I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. I hope you are able to take some time. I mean, Christmas is just a few days away. Take some time to enjoy with family and friends and get your 2022 mental mindset together. I know for our team, that's what we're doing right now, working on closing out this year, which has been a phenomenal year for us, and making our plans for 2022. We're ready for that next year. I'm always excited to see the new year come in with new opportunities, new goals, all of that good stuff. So enjoy the holidays, and I will be back here with you at the 1st of January to go through our 2021 year-end wrap-up and tell you how everything kind of came out at the end of the year. And I can already tell you this, spoiler alert, it was a phenomenal year in our real estate market and the best year my team has ever had. So we are super excited. I'm going to be really excited to share all of those fun details with you in January. In the meantime, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, enjoy the holidays, and I can't wait to see you in 2022. Don't forget, call us if you want to go ahead and start talking about your 2022 game plan in real estate. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.